Chargers, welcome to Mrs. Boyd's Math Room. Today, we're going to be talking about variables and expressions. It's going to be very exciting. Variables, first thing we need to know, are symbols used to express numbers or values. Okay, commonly known symbols that we know about or variables, X and Y, those are things that we use in math quite a bit for our variables. It can be any letter that you want in the English language. It could be Greek letters like sigma or mu. Anything, even a triangle can be used as a variable in some instances. Okay, so it's pretty much just a symbol that we use to represent something else. An algebraic expression is our other term for the day, and it's one or more numbers or letters. Let's make that a little more concise. Numbers or variables. Varies don't have to be letters, do they? With one or more operations. Essentially, an algebraic expression is an equation without the equal sign. It's numbers and letters, variables and numbers, all together, separated by pluses and minuses. That's all that we need to know about what an expression is. If it's gotten an equal sign, it's not an expression. We'll talk about that another day. So here I've got listed for you lots of expressions and blanks to put the words in. Okay, let's look at the first blank, right? First part of our table right here. In your head, I want you to read this expression and then write down what you say in the blank. Do it. So you probably said something along the lines of m plus 5. You could have said m increased by 5. You could have said m added by 5. Any of those things work, okay? The second blank, same thing, but the opposite of what we just did. Now you've got a verbal version of the expression, and I want you to write down what it looks like on the left. All right, so you might see this, d less than 7, and write something like this, d less than 7. Unfortunately, this is not an expression. This is an inequality because of the inequality symbol there in the center. D less than 7 means that we have 7 and we're taking D away from that. So that correct expression will be 7 minus D. So if you've got an inequality sign, less than, well, that's the worst handwriting ever. Let me get rid of that. So if you've got less than, greater than, less than and equal to, greater than or equal to, that is not an expression. Oh my gosh. Can't take me and my handwriting anywhere. All right, next one. Try this one on your own. Write the expression over here. All right, it looks like we've got 13 plus 2x. So you could have written that, 13 plus 2x. But really, I want us to label every operation that happens in this expression with a word. So here is an operation, and here is an operation, because 2x is really 2 times x. So we're going to say 13 plus the product of 2 and x. If you haven't already noticed, on the back of your page that you're currently writing on are some phrases and wording that you could use to help you along with this, some reminders. So if I'm going to scroll down there real quick and we look under multiplication, we see product. Don't forget, product is just another word for times, multiplied. All right? Let's go back up here and see what we've got. All right, next one, fill in this blank. All right, we've got the product of 8 and something. So we know it's going to be 8 times something, the cube of b. Well, that we know it's b, and cube means 3 is in the exponent. So 8 times b cubed, or just 8b cubed, or to the 3rd power. All right, moving on to the next one. Let's fill in this blank. All right, so for this one, let's try, we start with all the operations. So there's going to be 1 here and 1 here. So 1/2 times p, we can just write, I don't want to write that, I want to use all words. So I want half of p minus, forgot the s, holy moly, minus 6. Last one, fill in that blank. All right, we've got 4 times, so it's 4 times something, 4 times the sum. The sum means that we're going to add 2 things together and multiply that by 4. That means we've got to put whatever is multiplied by in parentheses with a plus in the middle. The sum of x and 4. So if you're multiplied times the sum of something, you're going to put whatever that sum is in parentheses with a plus in the middle. All right. A little note here. We've got these, what I'm going to call flipping words. These are expressions on either side of these words get flipped. So if you see from, it's fit is your acronym. So from is the first flipping word. Into is the next flipping word. Than is a flipping word. And to. So if we want to look at an example, let's look up here at this expression. We had d less than 7. So than says, whoop, that's a flipping word. So we know that it's going to be flipped around as opposed to how it's written. D's first in our verbal expression and 7's last. When we wrote it, we had 7 first and D last. So these are the flipping words that we're talking about. From, into, than, and to. Clear as mud, I very much hope. And then, like we mentioned a little bit ago, on the back of this page, we've got phrases that you can use to help you get from a verbal expression to an algebraic expression. There's lots of options for all the things that you might encounter. And if you come to parentheses, remember how we talked about that? And it was times the sum of. We're not going to look at equals very much quite yet because that'll be with equations. But division, there's ratio of, quotient of. These are all things that you should be able to know and use at your disposal. So use this list on your homework and do your best.